For the Inktip Journey's exploration of Nigeria, we cross paths with Anjola Awosika, an award-winning food photographer and storyteller, helping to shape the way Nigerian food is seen, experienced, and understood. He is the founder of Atarodo Media, an innovative platform showcasing the history and culture of West African food. He spoke to us about the flavors of Nigeria, his favorite food related memories, how the Nigerian food scene has evolved, and so much more. So listen in.
Hi, my name is Anjola Awosika, and I currently work in Lagos, Nigeria as a food photographer, but I run a food media agency called Atarodo Media, and one of our products is Atarodo Mag. And so with Atarodo Mag, all we do is we are documenting, African food and African food culture, you know, through storytelling and innovation, right? We are currently on digital platforms, and we also curate live experiences centered around Nigerian food culture, that type of thing. That is our starting point, but our goal is to definitely go global, right? Yeah, it's an exciting time, and I can't wait to talk.
What do you think about when you think about Nigeria?
Hmm, that's a very interesting question. I think Nigeria is an interesting place, a very, very interesting place, a very complicated nation. And I think that as Nigerians, it's our responsibility to uplift the nation and also like fuel it, right? Whatever seed it is that we plant is what is going to grow. And I understand that Nigeria has a very interesting colonial past or history, and that has really influenced how, the country functions. And so you have a lot of complications left, right, center. But then I think that if we really look inward and if we try to, really, really, interrogate who we are as a people, we can find the progress that we are looking for. Well, yeah, outside of that, I think it's I think it's a fun place to live. Nigerians we like group, we like parties, we love to have a good time. Nigerians love to have a good time. I feel like when they talk about like who are the most social species or the most social countries in the world, you can say Nigerians are one of them because we love to groove. Nigerians leave Nigeria and go abroad and have the best time, like party, blah blah blah. Just yeah.
What inspires you to share stories about food?
African food is deeply underrepresented in the media, and when Western media want to talk about food and cuisines, there's a hierarchy, right? You know, there's the Asian food, and you have like the American food, you have like the Thai food. But then African food is almost like non-existent. And so even when they want to talk about African food, it's typically during the Juneteenth, right? Or like History Month, or there's all these black beans, and so that's where African food really gets the spotlight. And so it feels like African food is really seasonal in the Western media, right? But then when you bring it back to Nigeria, you also realize that Nigerians don't really know their food. They love their food, but like they don't really know it. They just know that, oh, we love jollof, like we love eggs, we love asun, we love suya, we love gari and eba, but like we don't know the origin of our food. We don't know where our food comes from. We don't know a lot of the things that we eat today as a result of migration. You know, so when I look at all of that, right, and I'm like, oh, okay, how do we tell the story? Pretty much, right? How do we tell the story through Nigeria? How do we tell the Nigerian food story, right? Um, one of my own mediums is, photography. And so I've taken on that role to, document Nigerian food culture, and setting up Atarodo Mag to do a more robust, um, interrogation and documentation of the food culture.
What are the flavors you associate with Nigeria?
I don't think there's one particular flavor to sort of describe the food and the food culture, but I think anything that is good food. And how do you categorize good food? I think you categorize it by how it tastes and how it makes you feel, right? When I'll give an instance. So when Nigerians go to a party, right, and then they say, ah, that party was mad. In Yoruba they say, oh, party near done, oh done, and then they keep raving and raving and raving and raving and raving. And then when you really interrogate, okay, why was this party really good? And then they break it down. They say the food was just flowing. The food was flowing, and it was good food. And then they start mentioning, all the dishes that were at the party, and all the food vendors that were there, and they go into this deep dive of how perfect the party was. But good food makes a good party, right? And so anything that is tasty, anything that is rich in flavor, anything that is colorful. We love a theatric. We love a dish that sizzles. And that's why, Nigerians serve food on hot plates at a party, right? Because they like all that. They call it serere, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much the flavor of there's this, extravagance of Nigerian food, and I think that's what makes it really distinct. Food is meant to make you feel good. It's meant to make you, oh my God, this is nice. Like it's meant to make you feel more blessed. It's meant to make you feel excited. It's meant to, cure your boredom. It's meant to make you just feel alive and come alive, right? And then I think that's pretty much the flavor of Nigerian food. Because, when you eat, even down to jollof, when you eat a really good jollof rice, it just elevates you. You're just like, where is this from? Like with grilled chicken and plantain, like nicely fried golden brown plantain. Perfect.
What is your favorite food related memory in Nigeria?
Hmm, this is an interesting one. I'm very excited about Easter, right? And as a child, my mom used to make fruit jar. And so I feel like that was the time that those are one of the times that she would really, really come alive. And she's like, she had free Easter season, she has gone to buy the beans, and like she sort of prepped it down. She's like, oh, we're going to make John. And so when it's like the Easter weekend, Good Friday, that type of thing, she's already like prepping stuff, putting it together, about to blend beans, that kind of thing. And that entire time, it just reminded me of how like fun and, you know, exciting that tradition was, right? Um, this was something we used to do together. We would anticipate Fijan getting done so that we can, take a scoop, right? And we could have it with stew or have it with Gary, just depends on. I didn't like fish growing up, so I didn't used to have it with fish, but we can have it with fish if you want. So yeah, that was very exciting. Um, going to eateries as well, right? Growing up in Lagos in the early 2000s, it used to be Mr. Biggs and Sweet Sensation and Chinese restaurants, right? So just, going to all those places on like a Sunday or like even during the week, most times. Because I remember like during the week when I go out with my dad to his office and we are driving back home, I'm like, oh, can we stop at Mr. Biggs because I want meat pie or I want sausage or I want ice cream, that type of thing. Um, Sunday mornings, or rather Sunday afternoon, were also very fantastic. Our church, our family church is in Lagos Island, right? So there used to be these fan yogo guys, right? That will go around in that bicycle with the little ice coolers with like all these like frozen yogurts inside, super yogo, fan ice, all those things. So yeah, they will just stand by the church outside and you just see people, children after church flock to the guys standpoint and then just start buying stuff. And that was quite exciting actually. Like we're always looking forward to after service. After church service, you go there, buy your super yogo, and you're just like you're having a great time while your parents are doing their church meeting. We are there sipping and fine yogo and fun nice. Yeah,
How has Nigeria's food scene and flavors evolved?
it has evolved so much, right? Because I remember clearly in 2015, I feel like whatever it is that's happening now started I mean, obviously started years ago, but then 2015 seemed to be like the significant year because a lot of people that were abroad moved back to Nigeria and they started exploring Nigerian culture, right? And so this was also the time Eat Drink Lagos had started their blog. This was also the time, GT Bank was about to start their food festival. This was the time, Alara had just opened. This was also the time Chef Rex was on TV. He was I think the anchor of the cooking show. Yeah. That was also the time like people were really were beginning to take chefs seriously in Nigeria. Like, oh, chef, you're a chef. Oh, why are you a chef? You know. Um, so that was the formative years, right? 10 years after, which is now, there's been a huge change and trajectory, right? First of all, Nigerian culture generally has become very popular. So the film, the music, and that has just like trickled down to food, right? Because people are asking questions also, what is the food? Like, how is the food culture? That type of thing. And then during COVID, right, everything just changed. Nigerian food became this, you know, cultural phenomenon, right? You had people trying fufu on TikTok. Um, you had people. There's the jollof wars, right? Who has the better jollof? Is it Nigerian jollof? Is it Ghanaian jollof? Is it Senegalese jollof? You know, those things help, you know, catapult the food culture internationally. And so we have like even people who are not of Nigerian descent trying the food out, right? All of that is a majority of that is happening abroad, but here in Nigeria, we are beginning to really understand that we have to come together as a collective to really elevate this food culture, right? A lot of the change that is happening abroad. Whatever it is that is happening now is just in its foundational level, right? Now you have the conference, the Nigerian Food Summit, where it's specifically for conversations around Nigerian food and Nigerian food culture, and you have all the major players, so from the farmers to the food supply chain to to the bakers to the chefs to the students, and you have the hospitality side of it as well. You have the hotels coming together. You have all these like elements being put together just to sort of elevate this food culture. And I think it's essential that we do this because It helps, first of all, it helps people take us seriously. That's one. Two, it makes people who are really like behind us see that, oh, there's a structure around the food culture, right? It's not just, oh, you make good jollof. It's more about, okay, what's the structure of the industry, right? Who are the major players? Who are the people that are setting things up? Who are the people that are really driving the conversation? Who are the people that are, elevating the food culture? That's how it has that's what's happening now, and that's how it has evolved over the years, right? You have, you know, the GT Bank Food and Drink Festival. You have the A Drink Festival. You know, you have even the Atarodo events, right? That are sort of a mixture of the big and the small, right? That's driving these conversations. So yeah, it's the industry has evolved so much in the past 10 years, and it's quite exciting to see. It's quite exciting to be in the middle of it, right? And seeing all the major players and how everybody's striving hard to elevate the food culture.
What is the ecosystem for food like in Nigeria?
Um, the ecosystem is very diverse. So you have the chefs, right, who are at the top of the pyramid, right? You have restaurant owners, and then you have the hotels, right? And so the chefs are broken down into different categories. So you have the caterers, you have the chef-owned, dining experiences, you have the chef-owned restaurants, you have the private chefs, and then you also have the restaurant owners. So you have the Nigerian restaurant owners, you have the Lebanese restaurant owners, and then you have like the fast casual restaurants, right? And then also then have the hotels. So all of these, you know, will I call them individuals now or subsections in a way, are really, you know, people that are driving the ecosystem, right? But then everybody seems to be working in silos, which is interesting because you can't really game the system because the system just has a way of making you do that. And this is now a broader Nigerian issue and not really an industry issue because when you look at the creative ecosystem in the country, you realize that creatives are underfunded and there's just this inequality within the creative ecosystem, right? And so that affects every other thing. It affects music, it affects film, and also down to food, right? But then work is ongoing to sort of, you know, protect and sort of form a structure for the industry, right? And yeah, so these individuals are sort of like making it happen at different levels. So the hotels are doing their thing, right? From Radisson to, Orchid, to rather Orchid, the White Orchid, to even Eco Hotel, Lagos Continental, the boutique hotels as well, right? They are driving it. The restaurant owners are driving it. The restaurant scene is really big here. In fact, they are even like the major drivers of the Nigerian food culture, right? A bunch of them, from the fast casual restaurants to, like the Slows and the RSCPs and the Olayas and the, Exo Bakery or Sarah Dinoni. Um, yeah, a bunch of them, right? The ecosystem it's still at its foundational level, right? And so whatever it is that is being built right now is what then becomes, a bigger industry, right? And so I think we do have a good foundation, right? It's just to build on it. It's almost like people are building and then they're breaking things down because obviously considering how like temporary restaurants are and it's very what's the word now? Or rather the lifespan of a restaurant it, it can be short, right? So when a restaurant closes down, for example, it's almost like it's taking everybody back to square one. But I guess the industry just has a way of picking itself back up.
What are some of your favorite sports?
I mean, there are a few places that I'm really enjoying right now. I'm enjoying Rodo in Abuja right now. I'm also enjoying TT in Lagos. Um, where else? Well, I think it's just based on my mood, honestly. Honestly, people's houses. Because I think I have a friend, his mom makes stuff from scratch. Like, she makes fufu from scratch. She, yeah, she does everything from scratch, right? And I think that's such an interesting, way to cook. Um, and it's fun. Like, it's fun, like, just experiencing all of that and how everything comes together at the end of the day, right? It's almost like a farm to table, but in a person's house, that type of thing.
What are your favorite Nigerian dishes?
Right now, I'm really enjoying afan soup. Um, yeah, I love afan. Really, really enjoying that right now. I'm having it with like wheat, with pounded yam, with white rice. Um, I'm also enjoying beans. I took a long break from beans, so now I'm back. What else? Jollof rice is still a huge staple for me. Uh, yeah, those are like things that I'm really, really enjoying right now. Afan soup, it's crazy. In the past, um it used to be egusi, but now even abula, that's another good one. Oh, now when people serve small chops, I only ask for puff puff. I just can't relate with all the other things that are on that plate. Like I was at a friend's birthday over the weekend and they were like, "Oh, small chops," and I told the waiter, I was like, "Oh, please, may I just have puff puff only?" And then he came back with just puff puff, and I'm like, "Hell." So yeah, I don't know. I guess I have a thing for puff puff now, and so I just like enjoy puff puff, Chapman. Those are like my two. I guess I'm going back to the old days.
What foods are indigenous to where you come from in Nigeria?
So pounded yam and I think obeila sepo is very. I think it's indigenous to the Ondo people. My mom is from Ogun State, so dodo ikiri is something that is like another staple there.
What is your favorite Nigerian expression?
Oh my God, I have so many. From ewo to ah to eh like I used like what eh yeah